It's a bright sunny day in December, and I gotta get hundreds of onions in the ground with nearly no space to do it. And I can tell that I'm in for a trouble. I feel like I'm running a true homestead now, guys, because I've got a couple barn cats. Babka and Babyka. That's the baby. She used to be much smaller. There's 3 generations of cats here, guys. Fabka is running around the corner right now. Babka, our original, is right there. And here we have Babyka, our little offspring that I didn't realize was gonna be created. And let me just say this, they're keeping the mice population at bay. Because every time we turn our compost, we have 15 maybe little field mice in there, and I see them here every morning. It's just sniping a few of them. But that's not the subject of today's vid. Today, I gotta get a bunch of onions in the ground. I wanna show you what's going on at the fall winter homestead. Just turned into December. Still really nice and sunny here, but at least for our zone 10B, it's getting cold at night. We're down in the 50s. Can you believe it? The 50s. That's cold, guys. That's really cold. It's so cold that I had to harvest my bananas. Look at these. My first crop of bananas in my entire life, and it's at least 30 pounds worth of bananas. I don't know, there's gotta be like 70 on this thing. I'm so proud of this. But today, I've got a bucket full of onions in some filthy fertilizer that I need to plant, like hundreds. So let's figure out where to do that. Here you go, chickies. We're down to only 7 hens. It's a sad day when you lose a hen, my friends. These 2 beds look like prime real estate. This was our tomato bed, and it has been for the last few years. This last year was the carrot bed. It was peppers before that. So I'm gonna throw some onions down here, but probably just on the outside line here and on this outside line following these 2 irrigation, because I want the ability to put something else in here, because of course these onions are gonna be like at least a 4 to 5 month crop. So I don't want an entire bed to be entirely filled with onions. Last year I did this strategy of kind of dotting the onions around in different beds, and it was really nice because it looks cool. And also, you don't have to like block and bed off for something that takes half a year. And to do it, I've got just the tool. Let's get this row shaped up. It is honestly really simple. You just pull a trench out and it throws the soil out to one direction, which makes it really nice for planting stuff that you need like a really long furrow across a row. And that's exactly what we have in this stinky bucket. This is some just liquid fertilizer that these onion starts, have been. Don't wear a shirt that you want to ever smell normal again when you. So what I've got here are 4 different types of onions. Most of them are yellow. So I have Texas Legend right here. This is a yellow onion. I've got Yellow Grand X, which is one of the best performers in our region. I've got Texas Early White, of course, a white onion that should produce a little bit earlier than average. And then I've got the Southern Belle Red, which these did pretty well for us last year. So we got these as starts from Dixondale Farms, and we just soaked them in a little liquid fish while we waited to plant them. But I personally like either growing from seed or from start. I don't really like growing onions from sets, which are those little bulbs, because I find that a lot of the times they go into biennial mode and flower instead of producing a larger bulb, whereas these will always produce a bulb. So let's get these in the ground. This entire bed, by the way, was planted with a mustard ground cover and cover crop to try to get some of the nematodes out of this ground. These are the root knot nematodes. But the onions, I don't think really will suffer from those, so I'm not too worried about it. But that's why you see all these little chunks, because we just did a chop and drop a little bit ago. This is how I like doing onions, in bulk at least, is you bring a trench out and then space them out every, I don't know, 5 inches or so. Really just take the diameter of an onion and space it that far apart from the next one. Because if you think about it, half of the diameter, or 1 radius, will come out this way, and 1 will come out this way. That will make up the diameter of 1 full onion. That's why you have to space it out like that. Then all you really do is just enclose the trench. I like to pat this so that they're nice and secure in there. And these guys are gonna just take a while to grow, 4 or 5 months, and we'll have a really nice crop of onions. This will probably be our biggest crop ever. I don't think I've planted over 200 onions before, at least in this yard. Not bad at all. Gonna give this a nice healthy water in. I know it's probably crazy to you that I am planting onions in December, early December, but it's just how we have to do it. If I don't plant them now, I won't get a great harvest. And I did the same with my garlic. So as I water these in, the thing you got to know about onions is really just day length. And I've talked about this multiple times on the main channel as well as here on the Homestead channel, but it's really just day length. Long, short, medium day onions correlate to basically how far north or south you are, how long or short your days are. And the further north you live, the longer the days actually are. You know, think about Alaska. I went up there for my 30th birthday in August, like many years ago now. And it was crazy how long the days were. It was like 12 a.m. and we were still out there fishing. So longer day onions, more north, shorter day onions or day neutral onions, more south or closer towards the equator. Now on to some veggies of our labor right here. Horrible joke. We've got some cauliflower. This is a cheddar, I believe, and we've bagged it up basically by tying its own leaves around itself to protect it, but it is more than ready to go. In fact, it might be a little bit over, so let's cut it out and see. Honestly, I think we might have something here. Okay, that's... Oh. I got weirded out for a second, but it's just because I thought the whole thing was infested. It's not. There's just a few little guys there, or maybe those are... It's either poop or eggs. I think it's... Oh, you know what? There it is. There's a few roly-polies right there, pill bugs. So all we have to do is just wash them off and we'll be fine. But this is slightly over, but still nice tight florets on this area. You can see it's slightly over because you got stuff like this coming up, which I'd rather not see. A little bit tighter would be better, but at least the whole thing is not coming out. So once I give this a good wash, we're good to go. And if I hadn't tied that up, what you would see is a lot more white or even green to this head of cauliflower, which I really wouldn't want. We've also got some really nice broccoli at this time of year. Take a look at this. This is perfectly ready, like perfectly ready. There's nothing opening up, super tight, and what I'm gonna do is just cut it off down low, but not pull the whole plant. Look at that. That is really nice. That's like grocery store quality broccoli. We're lucky enough to even have some beets at this time of year. So this is the classic multi-sown beet technique where you can see they all really came out of the same central point right about there. And then they all pushed each other out of the way. So I can take all three of these, I think. There goes our centerpiece for the bed, but I think it's worth it because these beets are nice. Honestly, this is not a bad little winter's harvest. I can probably do some beet salad. I can roast up the broccoli and the cauliflower. The way I like to do it is you just kind of char it, put some cheese on it, you know? It's cheddar cauliflower after all. It'd be a crime not to put some cheese on this. The homestead's looking pretty good as we move into the final month of the year. I'm pleased with it. It's a lot less barren than it normally would be. And we're also working on some fun projects. I haven't shown you guys this awning in quite some time, but we are totally turning it into a California room. There's some saltillo tile going down. We glassed the whole thing in. It's gonna look really, really nice and extend the house quite a bit. Because I don't know if you remember, but when I moved into this house, I wasn't living with my girlfriend and I didn't have a whole crew coming over to help me film. And it's only a 990 square foot home. So it's a little cramped sometimes and privacy is sometimes not in large supply. So I figured adding the sort of glassed in California room outdoors, it doesn't technically count as square feet on the home, but it adds about 450 square feet of fully enclosed insulated space. So to me, that's a house edition. Without the price of a house edition, I had a guy come out and do a quote on just like extending the home. It was like more than what I put down on this house. It was absolutely crazy. And a sunroom was 1/5 the price. So why not do that? I figured it, and I told myself, it's like the last thing I'm gonna do to this house. It's the last thing. Oh, we all know that it's not, obviously. But I'm telling myself that to keep my pocketbook just feeling a little bit better. That's it on this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being patient with me over the summer as I took a little break from posting so regularly. But I'll be back in the new year with some fun new content, fun new ideas. We'll see you next time. Good luck in the garden, and keep on growing.